What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Suplex City chat. It is Sunday, and you're going, Matty G, what the hell are you doing? It's Saturday night. It's Sunday night. Well, guess what? As you saw right there, Hell in a Cell was tonight. So me and the boys, we're going to sit down and talk about the highs, the lows, and see what we all thought. Mr. JB3 will eventually join us, I would assume. But that's all right. We can go on without him. The show must go on, as they say. First, we're going to introduce the man that is so evil. He leads the Dark Order, Mr. Evil Dose.
Evil Dose in the house, getting ready to metaphorically jump into the red cell. Let's do it.
There is no metaphorically here. This is the same. But the Fiend is not coming after you tonight. Oh, yeah, I went there. He is our resident Paynemaker. You're muted.
I'm not muted. Who said I was muted? You said I was muted? See, here we go. We're already starting.
It's all right. I'm done. I'm kidding.
I could, if I wanted to deal with this shit, I'd be watching Hell in a Cell again.
I don't know what you're talking about. I actually enjoyed Hell in a Cell. So Ryan must have lost his shit. But we'll talk about it when we get there. And of course, wouldn't be a trip through Suplex City, even if we gotta take a trip through hell without the villain.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? Yeah, man. Wow, this was a show, man. 3 Hell in a Cell matches. The red didn't look too bad tonight, I must say. The red did not look bad on that cage or on that hell of a cell. So yeah, that's enough for me. Yeah, let's get into it, brothers. Woo!
That's absolutely what we're gonna do. So we're gonna start. The pre-show was a 24/7 title match. You know, it was whatever. It proved that R-Truth can still wrestle, pretty much. But we're going to start with the opening match. Something I thought was actually going to headline this pay-per-view. It was a Universal Championship match between the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and his cousin Jey Uso in the first ever I Quit match. This may not have been the most physically, demanding. No Mick Foley falling off the top of the cage with his tooth going through his nose, but the story in this match made it just fantastic. The fact that they kind of turned it into a strap match halfway through, then into a street fight, and then the way it ended, I like. We'll just, since he looks like he didn't enjoy it, Paynemaker, what's up?
Well, look, it's not the fact I didn't enjoy it. It was just the fact that I got bored through it. I wasn't expecting an extreme fight between these two men. I was expecting at least some brawling happening between Jey and Roman. But what it fell down to was mainly Jey would get some offense in, but then once Roman started dominating, it was he would throw him to the ground or punch him to the ground, talk, like make me, what was it? What was it they would say? Acknowledge me as your tribal chief. Like, this is consequences, or I love you, but you brought this on yourself. Like, they're saying this shit over and over in different variations. And I just thought, if this is the kind of heel Roman I'm gonna get when it comes with a personal storyline with Jey, what the hell kind of Roman I'm gonna get when he goes up against someone down the road like Daniel Bryan or Seth Rollins or BE or Matt Riddle's on Raw. So, but I'm just saying, if this is the kind of Roman we're gonna get when it comes to with these personal storylines, it kind of disappointed me a little bit. I was hoping for Roman to be a little more dominant physically in the cage. I do like the way Jey said I quit. I like how it wasn't to where Roman's beating him to a blade pulp. Instead, Roman manipulates the situation by putting Jimmy into a chokehold and not letting go until Jey said the word. So it still holds up to where Jey, he didn't bow down to Roman, not out of pride, but he did it to protect his family.
See, and I think Samoa Joe said it best. He couldn't break his body, so he broke his spirit. I loved it. I thought that was great. Villain, you've said this was a mighty fine pay-per-view. What do you think of this opening match?
I think they both looked good going in. You had Jey with the white on, so that was cool. You know, 'cause for a while when him and his brother kind of went penitentiary, they were wearing black all the time. So for him to come out with the all white, you know, like an angel, like the good guy, and then you see Roman coming out with the black but with the gold glove. I thought that shit looked fresh as fuck. You know, I was like, oh shit, he got a new glove. I want to get a gold glove now and go out there and punch Superman, punch some motherfucker in the face. You know, so I thought that shit was fresh. Yeah, I can understand where Ryan the Paynmaker's coming from, but with no crowd and the mics are right there now. Like I actually like the talking, where you could hear the wrestlers clearly, and Roman, he's going against his cousin, a person he grew up with, from playing in the playground to sleepovers to, holidays with the family to all the talking. I didn't mind it. Yeah, sometimes it was kind of the same verbiage, but I thought it was cool because, you actually could hear them just talking out loud, very clearly. And, I like the way the match went, different turns in the match. And I like the ending, because like you said, he couldn't get his opponent to say I quit. So he had to take down his own cousin, his opponent's brother, to make him say I quit. And then at the end, Ryan didn't touch on it, but at the very end, I liked how Paul Heyman was just in the background. He wasn't really effective. He was just kind of out there, but you could see him in the camera angle. And then Roman, just breaking down in the tears and just sitting on a mat. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, whoa. So man, this shit makes me actually want to watch this Friday coming up because the last 2 Fridays I haven't really felt the need to watch SmackDown, So this I think this is gonna get me to see what the hell is gonna happen next with this storyline. I was surprised that this was the opener, but man, yeah, it was a good match. It was good storytelling.
Yeah, something you were touching about the end. I like the fact that the heads of the tribal leaders came out and actually dubbed him the tribal leader, and that was just a really good touch to it. Dos, what do you think?
I'm glad you just mentioned that because I agree 100%, and that doubles why I think.
Hold on. Give me just a second. My phone's ringing. I'll be right back. But go ahead and I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. Well, I agree with Matt that the having Afa and Sika at the end was a really nice touch, but that for me really solidifies why this should have been the end of the show, not the beginning of the show, because of the story, because the match was epic in duration, and because I don't know that anyone watching the show hasn't seen Hell in a Cell already. So, and we're going to get to spoilers soon anyway, but if you weren't planning to listen any further, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1. There were no other major surprises in the show. And without those, this really should have closed out the show because of that. Having said that, this match was sort of exactly what I expected it to be and exactly what I was afraid it was going to be. Sort of slow and plodding. And I echo a lot of what the Paynmaker said. The sound bites were the same. The dynamics of the match were the same. Yes, they added the strap, and that was pretty brutal, and things like that. And the choking was good. And I didn't really have that much of an issue with Jimmy coming in and sort of it was sort of smart that Roman sort of realized, oh yeah, now I know what I have to do to make him quit. I gotta, his brother sacrifices for him, so he's going to sacrifice for his brother. That said, part of me feels like it was a cop-out for an I Quit match. I don't think there was any need to make Jey Uso look strong. I think it just should have been an old-fashioned I Quit. That's just me. It was okay. I don't really feel the need to talk about it that much longer. It was good. It did what it needed to do. It told a good story, but it was long for me, and it wasn't lopsided enough for me.
And I do agree, it was kind of long. I timed it. It was almost 45 minutes, so it was long, but that's okay. Moving on, we have our kind of cool down match, you could say, with Jeff Hardy and Elias. I picked Elias to win just because he came back and I read that he was going to get a push. He officially won by disqualification. Mm-hmm. This match really didn't do a whole lot for me. Dos, what did you think?
I agree with you. It didn't do much for me either. I mean, as you recall, during the prediction show, I famously said, "Don't know, don't care." I sort of felt the same way. I mean, what I thought might make it interesting, which of course was overthinking things, which I tend to do, was that the Mustafa Ali hacker thing might come into play, where he revealed that Sheamus was actually the one that ran over Jeff Hardy, not Elias, and somehow that would turn Elias somehow into a face to push his album, and he could pivot to feuding with Sheamus instead. Because I didn't think Jeff Hardy signed a new contract to lose to Elias and feud with Elias. That said, I was wrong. I mean, Elias won on a disqualification. Fine, whatever. You know, Jeff Hardy will be in a feud with Elias. So be it. I have no other thoughts on it now, other than okay.
Yep. All right, Bill, and what'd you think?
Yeah, man, what Evil Doe said sounded really better than what the fuck happened. You know, that was like, yeah, that was like some common sense shit that was like really good. Like, you know, yeah, it confused me because I picked Jeff Hardy because, you know, that's the thing. It's like, you know, with WWE, it's like, oh, we hear the rumors. Oh, they're going to push Jeff Hardy and he's on a new contract. Elias comes back. Oh, they're going to push Elias. Then they both have a match together. So it's like, who the fuck they're going to push? Then it ends with a disqualification. So that to me sucks. You know, the match should have been a definite winner. And then the disqualification angle was like, oh, so these guys are going to feud again over a guy that didn't hit him with the car? Stupid.
Facts. All right, Paynemaker.
Man, that's all that was. It was just
okay.
The only interesting part about that match was I was doing a watch party of Hell in a Cell, and we made a bet to see if the guitar would be used either by Elias or by Hardy, like after or during the match. I said it wasn't going to be used at all, and I lost that bet. That's the only intriguing part of the match.
All right, then let's move on. Thanks to the revamped Wrestlers Court, we had Otis and Miz for the Money in the briefcase, Money in the Bank briefcase, and a possible Tucker heel turn. The match itself was fine. We actually saw moves from Otis that kind of surprised me. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Otis do the discus lariat, which was kind of interesting. He had some new moves. Miz struggled to do some of them. Kind of expected Morrison to get thrown out, and then Tucker nails him with the briefcase. 1, 2, 3. Paynemaker, what'd you think?
I had a feeling Tucker might turn on Otis, but I thought it was going to be maybe after the match was over. But at the same time, I was still thinking that they're not going to take this briefcase away from Otis. But then, of course, the fact they did nothing with it, because let's be honest, that was there for Otis. I mean, when you saw Otis using the stupid briefcase as a gimmick for the lunch boxes, and the fact that The Miz put together promos about why Otis shouldn't have it, it kept saying to me that Vince was like, you know what, I want to give Miz one more shot. Screw Otis. So the moment that Tucker was hovering around that briefcase, I'm like, yeah, it's going to The Miz. I know Tucker, in the aftermatch promo, he did have some good, valid reasons why he turned on Otis. I don't know. I just felt it would have been better if it wasn't on the pay-per-view to me personally, but you know.
Yeah, I could understand that. All right, Villain, what'd you think?
I thought this was dumb as fuck because when we did our predictions, this match wasn't even announced. Right? So now we got an interpromotional match because The Miz is on Raw and Otis on SmackDown. So this match wasn't even developed on Raw or SmackDown, but then now we get it as a pay-per-view. And then, Otis is lost to The Miz. Miz can't even pick this guy up since Otis is like a super heavyweight, you know, in size. So now The Miz is the Money in the Bank winner. So, wow, that's what we really need in 2020. Yep. Thumbs down.
All right, Ghost.
The match itself was actually a pleasant surprise. So if there's a category for a pleasant surprise of the night, I think this match was the pleasant surprise in that it was actually fairly entertaining. I think Morrison played his part perfectly. Then he got tossed out. I was not expecting a Tucker turn, partly because what the heck's he going to do? And partly because the WWE pay-per-views lately have been really so shenanigan free. they've left the shenanigans for TV where they need ratings because there's really no such thing as a pay-per-view anymore. And so once I thought I had that figured out, obviously they pulled a Roddy Piper on me and changed the question. But the reason why I think it's dumb for now, they could fix it, is why the turn? They're on. I mean, I know why the turn, but how does it advance? They're on two different brands. One of them's on Raw, one of them's on SmackDown. So who cares? So unless they're going to trade one of them already, or they're going to trade luchador masks and invade each other's show, which will get old real quick. It already feels old coming out of my mouth. I don't know where this goes, so I don't know what the point is. But I'm willing to wait and see. But I mean, whenever I try and think of anything that's even remotely clever, WWE doesn't give things even 20% of the thought that I do, and some of these thoughts of mine take 7 seconds. So, I'm inclined to be disappointed in that. Where does this go? But the match itself, I thought was fun. It wasn't long. It was good. It was paced well. And I would have really cracked up if the Miz cashed in on Randy Orton, win or lose at the end of the pay-per-view. But he didn't. So,
well, okay. I have a possible scenario for you guys to ponder. We know Miz has pulled in, whatever you want to say, USA, WWE, whatever. What if he manipulates the system to get Otis brought over to to Raw so he can feud with Tucker? Or there is an or here, or we do have Survivor Series coming up next. Survivor Series is next, and it is brand warfare, so we could theoretically see Otis and Tucker go at it.
We could, but I can't see either of them as team captains, but it's possible.
No, I'm talking in a singles match. I'm just talking a straight singles.
I get what you're saying. Now, Otis is not the smartest cracker in the barrel, but when you're switched off brands, I mean, the Miz already taught him how to make that irrelevant by a lawsuit. So, I mean, Otis could just copy that exact thing and battle the transfer just by copying Miz's own pleadings against him. I would think, but again, that's probably too much thinking that's involved. I don't know. It's maybe. Sure, why not? I mean, that would solve the big defect with the turn, but wouldn't it be that Tucker would want to change brands because he's the one who made the turn? He's the one who should want to continue to fight. I mean, it's sort of the same issue that I had with the Brody Lee Cody dog collar match, that Brody had the title and Cody wasn't ducking him. So why was there a dog collar match? I mean, sort of the same thing this coming week with a lumberjack match when nobody's avoiding anybody. The champion isn't avoiding the challenger. This is the same thing. I don't understand the why. Give me a why. So Tucker should be the one that's trying to avoid the transfer or change things around to get his pound of flesh revenge.
Well, you never know. All right, guys.
Well, you didn't get my. Yeah. I have an opinion. Yeah. Unless they're gonna use Otis, like you say, he's not the sharpest guy in the tool. Unless they're gonna use him like from Mice and Men, like a Lenny character, or he's gonna be like from Tropic Thunder. Unless he's gonna be Tucker Speedman's Jack character, or if he's gonna be like a Rocky, kind of dim-witted guy, then maybe if they go that route where he's kind of like underdog but wins, from his toughness, or maybe Tucker, now that Miz has a briefcase, maybe there'll be a trio, and then Tucker starts teaming with John Morrison in his tag team, and then Miz could be the leader of that. I don't know, but yeah, this is a feud that I kind of hope is dead now that since Miz has the briefcase, because yeah, this has been long-winded, and this feud has been tiring, in my opinion. But yeah,
here you go. Otis defects to Retribution. There you go.
Oh yeah.
They could call him. What would his name be? Ozone.
Ham.
Yeah.
Bone. I mean, come on. There's all kinds of stories here. All right.
Wall smash.
You didn't get Ryan's opinion.
It's all over Ryan's face.
Yeah.
I was the first person to go for the Otis and Miz thing. So
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
All right, Hell in a Cell number 2. The SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley took on Sasha Banks in her third cell match.
Yep.
I took Sasha Banks just because one.
I did too.
Mandalorian comes out on Friday. Just pointing that out. I was stunned. We didn't see a little clip from Mandalorian, or when Bayley started tying those two kendo sticks together, I was like, okay, there we go. There we go. She's gonna take that son of a bitch. She's gonna start whapping her with a damn. Yeah, it didn't happen, but Sasha picked up the win. Again, Sasha is fucking talented as hell in the cell. Her match last year with Becky Lynch was brilliant. This was even better. I like the way that she had Bayley tap out, where she had her in the bank statement, but was kicking the chair at the same time. I loved every minute of it. Villain, what do you think?
Oh, you're going to me first? Oh man, Sasha Banks looked good. She had the white on too. Damn, that blue hair with the black on the top. Man, Sasha Banks, you know what? She could wrestle her ass off, man. Her and Bayley, you know, they've been holding Raw down. And, you know, now that they're on SmackDown, they've been MVPs of 2020. Those women could wrestle their asses off. You know, and this match was fucking great. Best match of the night, in my opinion. You know, they use so much different weapons, you know, variations of things, you know, the spray paint, you know, when she had her laying dead on the ladder, and then that whole combo where Sasha jumped off the ladder, you know, comes back, hits her with the Bayley, you know, and then at the end when she made her tap out, yo, this shit was, you know, this was a good ass match. This was bonkers, and they both brung it tonight. You know, they both deserved a standing. If the crowd was there, I think they both would have deserved a standing ovation after this match.
Do you think it was better than any of their other two matches?
It's different environment, you know, different stipulations. I don't know. I have to go back and watch their first, you know, NXT match. So I don't know. Oh, Ryan, we lost Ryan.
He's still here. He's just off camera right now. All right, Dose, what'd you think?
I thought it was brilliant. I mean, I thought this was. I don't think it's even close to what was the match of the night. This was the match of the night by far. And to answer your other question, yes, I think it was better than the prior two matches because the stakes were higher. I mean, people like to love NXT sort of cultishly, but to call it the equivalent of a main roster world championship just is disingenuous. But I thought it was genius. I mean, even down to Bayley not pretending she couldn't hear the commentary and join with them was brilliant. And I think it started accidentally because one of them said something like, you know, Bayley can't do this. And she's like, yes, I can. And from there, she started joining with them. And I just thought that was great. And there were times where I thought that Sasha was actually hurt, and she wasn't. She like fell at full speed, but only it's like the little crevice, not hitting anything that would hurt her. And some of the when she crawled under the table and kicked it up, I thought that was really clever. There were just a lot of creative spots. The only place where there was like a botch was when she was trying to duct tape the two kendo sticks together and just wouldn't work. But so what? I mean, that almost gave it an air of realism. I mean, you tried something that doesn't work and moved on. So yeah, match of the night. I thought it was brilliant. This is you know, again, I'm not Dave Meltzer, but I'm Evil Doses Malachi, and so I give this my 5.1 star rating.
Whoa! All right, Paynemaker.
First off, it is definitely the best women's Hell in the Cell match, second only to Becky and Sasha. But as far as Bayley and Sasha's compendium of matches go, sorry, but their 30-minute Iron Man match is better than this one. Not because it's NXT, but because there was definitely stakes involved in that one. But I will compare apples to oranges later. This match still was fantastic. There was still a good story involved. And Matt, even though you have said that the Mandalorian season 2 may have played a factor into Sasha getting the belt, personally, I don't want to think that because the fact that they have been holding down Raw and SmackDown as women's champions, and then the 2 straps and the don't straps. Let me finish before I know you want to interject, but it just feels to me that Sasha, she has constantly she's been cut beneath the legs on so many different occasions, to when they finally turn her heel, like they did this past year, and she's finally getting a chance to actually cut her teeth. You're seeing not only as a face but as a heel, she gives a better dynamic of matches against different female wrestlers, regardless if they're green or if they're experienced. Sasha has this ability, or at least she's able to adapt and have chemistry with most female wrestlers on their brand to give them at least their best matches. So, yeah, ultimately the Mandalorian, because of WWE, they want to capitalize on some momentum and some star power. Yeah, it could have factored into Sasha getting the belt, but I still think it's because of Sasha's work that she's put in throughout the entire pandemic and throughout everything that she's done. I believe she's earned it. And I believe she's earned at least a reign with that championship. Not a short one, but an actual legit reign. But that will be happening today. But this match alone, Bayley was at her top as a heel in this one. I could do less with the constant teasing of bringing the chair that she has marked 1-0. But it's just the fact that Bayley was just bringing in so many different creative ways to try to take out Sasha, with the ladder, chair, like table setup, the tying the 2 kendo sticks together, and even trying at times to really bust with that sunset flip into Sasha in the turnbuckle with the chair setup. Everything Bayley did was meant to put Sasha back in the hospital, back on the waiting list again. The Bayley came in here not to beat Sasha, but to make sure she never has to face her, never has to see her again. And I wish and Sasha, she was just amazing, without a doubt, 100% amazing.
Yep. All right. I don't know where it falls on the 3. I'm not gonna pass judgment yet. I'm gonna watch everything again, and I will pass judgment on that. I personally don't care. I think Sasha, you could call her queen of the cage. Queen of the cell. Because she always puts forth an effort. All right. So we're all in agreement. Yep. Match of the night, without a doubt. And we still have one more cell match to talk about. Next, we have a bullshit thrown together. Something that happened. I'm really not even sure what to say about this. Mustafa Ali ran his mouth at the beginning of on the pre-show, stating we'll pick one of our. You pick one of ours, you pick, yours, and we'll have a fight. They did. They chose Bobby Lashley. They put the U.S. title on it, which they actually spoiled that at the beginning of the show, because when they came to the show, they said they had 5 championships on the line when we knew about 4. So there's, 3 left that they could have talked about? But that's here nor there. And then, whatever. Slapjack tapped out like a bitch. Then Retribution ran off like a bitch. I don't really care. Villain, talk about it.
What is there really to talk about? The Retribution is 0-3 now in matches, and in 2 matches they lost by submission. Bobby Lashley is dominating. I wish that WWE would have used him to be in the heavyweight division. I think he deserves it. I think he's a great talent. I think he could be right up there with Brock Lesnar if they used him right. They both are just big, strong monsters. But yeah, this was another match that wasn't in our predictions because it wasn't available to us. So this was like, I don't know, this was like when you go to the cafeteria and you're getting your food, you got your meatloaf, you see the menu, and then they slap some glop on this shit and like, what the hell is this? Like, oh, it was just something we had left over from last week, But yeah, this was trash. Bobby Lashley won, so happy for him. Retribution sucks.
I think Retribution's done. Last week I was like, they made changes around. No, it's dead. They're trash. Just put it.
And it was for the title. That was so sad. they lost 2 matches already, and then the third match was for a title, and then they submit, slapjack. What the fuck, man?
I would have rather have seen something on Twitter that the Fiend and T-Bar were kind of go back and forth, and hell, I would have almost rather have seen that because we know that T-Bar can wrestle and the Fiend's gimmick is over. It would have worked. Halloween being Saturday, it would have worked, but no. All right, Paynemaker.
Yeah. You think with Mustafa Ali being added in and with the Twitter response he made and the promo he had set up on Raw, which was unfortunately bad timing too because Retribution had just gotten themselves stomped by the Fiend, you thought that they would at least try to give Retribution a one-up here? Nope. It did not. Not only when Slapjack loses, Retribution, of course, tries to do the gang up. Her business comes out, and what was clearly a terrible set of blocking, Mustafa Ali decides he's going to do a sneak attack the moment all 3 members of the Hurt Business jumps in. What? Yeah, Vince wants Vince. It's clear Vince is burying this group, and you think with Mustafa Ali, you think that this would have been a perfect opportunity for having wrestlers like Mustafa Ali and some of the others be a mouthpiece to fight against, to be a commentary on his own style of booking. But Vince is like, nope, I'm just gonna bury you guys again.
All right, Dose.
I am not nearly as harsh on this as the rest of you are. Maybe it's because I really, really love the Hurt Business, and maybe it's because I've sort of been wishing it into existence for so many months and so many years before it existed, and now I have it, and it's exactly what I want it to be. Listen, earlier in the show, I said that it would have been a good use of the Hacker and Retribution to have revealed to Jeff Hardy that Elias had nothing, or revealed to Elias that Jeff Hardy had nothing to do with him getting hit by a car, and that would have made sense. This is the second time, at least, that I've come up with something for Retribution that would have made sense in line with their own storyline, and this was in line with the promo that Mustafa Ali cut on Raw after they got destroyed, saying we're going to cause chaos. So that would make sense in causing chaos. You cause dissension, you switch up the feuds, whatever. Instead of causing chaos, he made a traditional challenge for a regular match. They said, your second stay out, our second stay out, and agreed to it. I mean, to a point. So if they're going to be jobbers, lean all the way into it. If they're going to be trash, lean into the trash. I'm okay with them being buried. Just bury it and kill it. Bulldoze over it and move on. Let them rise up as phoenixes without their masks and be something else. I don't know what to do with Mustafa Ali at this point. I don't think it matters. I mean, I rarely think that anybody can't be rehabbed. I think the strong booking is 2 or 3 weeks away. Sometimes it's one segment away, a la the Kenny Omega match, a la Roman Reigns when he came and attacked the Fiend and Braun Strowman. So there are times you can do it. I don't know how you do it with Mustafa Ali, but I'm willing to accept that it's possible. That said, I'm okay with the burial. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was okay. I liked that Bobby Lashley won. I liked that he tapped out. I'm very happy that the Hurt Business came in and stopped them. I like that Lashley didn't really need them. He broke out of LaBarge and Devon's attack or T-Bar and Mace. And like, even if Mustafa Ali was going to come in and do an attack, what's he going to do to Lashley? Lashley's going to flick him off like a flea. So it was fine.
Please don't hit me. Please don't hit me.
Yeah.
I think one thing I want to
match, it was fine. It was exactly fine. Yeah, Retribution's buried, but I mean, honestly, does anyone really want to see them anymore as a real faction, as a challenge, as a top tier upper card challenge? I don't. So I'm good.
All right. And now the WWE Championship, our third and final Hell in a Cell match. We had Drew McIntyre taking on Randall Keith Orton in what I felt was a traditional Hell in a Cell match. They got weapons. They beat the snot out of each other. They climbed on top of the cage. somebody fell from the cage. That person lost. Drew started out. I think he still looks strong standing up at the end, but I'm going to be the first to admit I was wrong. I took Drew to retain this time because every time I took Randy Orton, he lost. This time I was wrong, and I actually am kind of glad about that because now with the Fiend on Raw, they can, go back to the way that the Fiend was, him attacking people from his past that, wronged him. So there's a story there. Villain, what'd you think?
I think you're wishful thinking. I don't know where the hell you got the Fiend thing from. That's wishful thinking, I think, on your end. All right, I'm gonna go first.
Come tomorrow night. The Fiend attacks Randy Orton. Will you admit you were wrong?
No,
and Matty was right.
Randy Orton's not gonna fight the Fiend because the Fiend's fighting Retribution already. They're not gonna jump over that, I don't think, unless they do. I don't know. It's WWE, they might. But yeah, this was the third match I predicted right. So I think I won the predictions, if I'm not mistaken. The only one I got wrong was the Jeff Hardy Elias one. So I think I won this week's prediction or this month's pay-per-view prediction. So that puts me in the lead, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're up by 1.
Yep. That's how the big dog does. Swing that big stick. Yeah. I figured this was going to be a regular match. Besides the other 3, when you had 3 Hell in a Cell matches, this was one thing that I was kind of worried about, where I was like, what the hell are they going to do, when you have 3 matches in the cage, which it should be. If you have a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell, but then, it could have got tiring for 3 matches and, in a Hell in a Cell in the same pay-per-view, but all 3 were different. All 3 told a different story. And, I thought, it was about time, and it just shows, the last match that they had together, you had to get all these legends to beat up Randy Orton for Drew McIntyre to win the match. And then none of the legends came out tonight. So, yeah, they had some good spots. Like you said, Randy Orton, he's not going to do more than he can, but he's a good wrestler. It sucks that he's been around for like 15 years because we've seen everything he could do, but he could still go in the ring. He's got the body, he's got the look. He's a veteran right now. He came in so early, and he's done so much that every time he has a match nowadays, it's kind of like, all right, some Randy Orton match. But yeah, this was a good match, and I think this was a good time to take the belt off of Drew. I know some people are gonna say, oh, Drew sucks as a champion. No, he doesn't suck as a champion. It's just they don't have the full rosters. They have the Kova shit going on. He didn't really have that many great matches as a champion. So maybe now he could chase the title. Now that they have so many new people on Raw with the draft, maybe they could shake things up, start getting more people fighting. Maybe we could get a Randy Orton versus Matt Riddle. Maybe we could get The Fiend versus Drew McIntyre. There's so many new people there. Elias could fight Randy Orton. Elias could fight Drew McIntyre. There's a lot of new people on Raw, that these guys haven't really wrestled before. So maybe they could shake things up now, So I was down for this. I thought it was a good match. I'm not going to say it was bad. It was a good match, and I'm glad Randy Orton won. He deserves it because he's been an MVP during this whole COVID thing. He was there, true and true. He could have used his legend status to stay home with his family, but he was there every week, and I got to respect that. He was working hard as shit. He didn't rest on his laurels, and he's been there the whole time, man. He's in the top 5 of MVP this year, for WWE. So yeah, I'm happy for him. 14, right? 14 fucking world
14.
champions.
Yep, yeah. 14 ties the game. All right,
yeah.
Paynemaker.
No, he's proud he lost.
I'm not pouting for the loss. The problem is that it makes no damn sense to me. Yes, Randy was an MVP during the shutdown. That's because he got to do something he wanted to do, put down a creative storyline with Edge that he was able to bleed it through by giving himself a different personality. But then the moment he gets the title shot, he's back to being same Orton that he was 2 years ago. Just, kicking heads or just doing whatever the hell he wanted. It made sense that Drew would win because of what happened at Clash of Champions. The fact that it took legends to assist him Drew being able to pummel and beat Randy Orton in that cage match should have reinstated and reinforced the fact that Drew, he didn't need the help. He's a killer on his own. And then afterwards, I still think that Drew could have lost the title sometime, maybe towards Survivor Series or maybe at the end of the year. I didn't think of him doing a whole year carrying that belt. I just did not believe Randy Orton was the right guy to take that belt off of him. And also the match. I mean, the moment Randy climbed up that cage, I knew something was going to happen. Either he was going to drop, Drew was going to drop, and that was going to determine who wins. And even then, when Drew gets up with the internal damage spitting out of the mouth, he still came across looking like a tough guy. Even when he got beaten, did he look like he was being carried out? No, he stood up on his own power, staring back at Randy Orton. So,
which maybe they could be leaning to the fact that they're going to hold off on him having another title reign until fans are back in the stands so that he can get his WrestleMania.
If you need fans to get somebody over, then that is a failure on your part. I mean, there's wrestlers, even then when you do training and development, there are some wrestlers who still do wrestling, and sometimes the fans don't even like them. The fans won't even acknowledge them, but they're still able to get over through sheer will and sometimes their own personality and what they have developed. If WWE truly believes that a wrestler needs fans to get over, then they fail to truly see any value in the wrestler themselves.
See, I don't think you understand what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is the fact that they're giving not the fans that reaction, they're giving Drew McIntyre that reaction because that pop he got at Royal Rumble where he Claymore kicked Brock Lesnar over the and eliminated him and he won the Rumble. That pop was explosive. It was almost as big. I actually saw they had a sound meter. The pop he got was almost as big as when Edge returned. That being said, I think they're doing is they're giving Drew McIntyre time off. He will stay in the title picture. He may not, compete for it or whatever, but he's going to stay in that upper card level. And then come Royal Rumble, he'll win again, and he'll get his WrestleMania moment with fans. Now,
put too much faith in them. I don't have faith in I don't have faith in their booking, honestly. After what they've done to Keith Lee recently, after what they have been doing with some of their superstars, I have no faith in their booking. If Drew's gonna get another shot, okay, I can't wait to see that. But one thing stands for sure: if he doesn't have that same swagger that he had building towards WrestleMania, and it's just taken away from him, or WWE books him into some no-nonsense matches to where he has to start losing through either DQs like they did with Keith Lee, or they're just gonna drop the ball on him again, then it just shows to me that there was no hindsight, there was no plan with Randy Orton taking the title from him.
See, I think you need to drop the Keith Lee thing for now because unfortunately, with the draft that came and so forth, they had to get more people there. That's why Keith Lee was kind of getting that. And guess what, brother? He does have a pin. Wait a minute. He does have a pinfall win over the champion, which that means there's your next feud. It'll be Randy Orton and Keith Lee.
Didn't you just say you think the Fiend's going to go against Randy Orton? They already got that.
But wait a minute. Whoa, time. I can defend that one. Sure, the Fiend can also go for it because if you look at AEW, holy shit, you can have multiple storylines going to one title.
They're terrible with multiple storylines. Recently, they're not good at juggling that.
What are you fucking talking about, bro? We've got the number one contender title, which we know it's going to come down to a heel Kenny Omega winning, and we're going to get
WWE, not AEW.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
My turn. You throw your jabs now. I'm coming back with them, bro.
You want those jabs? Okay, make sense of them. I mean, just don't drag. We're talking about Hell in the Cell, but then you're talking about Kenny Omega.
Well, you brought up Keith Lee and how Keith Lee's choking. He's getting fucked around, and I'm like, check it out. And then you brought up how I think the Fiend eventually is going to get his shot at Orton. I'm trying to explain to you my logic to it. So just settle down. Take another drink, pretty boy. You know, only pretty boys drink White Claw.
Welcome everyone to another episode of TMG Entertainment Wrestling Debate, where we have Matty G versus Ryan talking about the Raw Heavyweight title with your judges, the Brilliant and Evil Dose.
And whoever's watching. No. There can be multiple storylines to that title. What I'm saying is you can kind of pull Drew McIntyre a little bit back. He can feud with Keith Lee. He can feud with The Fiend. He can feud with all these big names that are on Raw right now, and you could still have Randy Orton King of the Mountain. What I'm getting at is the fact that you can run multiple storylines like AEW is doing with Eddie Kingston and his family, and you could even throw Lance Archer back in there. You could throw... You know, you've got Kenny Omega on his way up. I mean, there's plenty of storylines going to that title. So there's no...
I think you guys are talking across each other. I don't think he was saying that nobody can book multiple storylines at a time. I think he was saying that WWE can't even book one storyline at a time consistently, that he doesn't believe that they can book multiple storylines at a time. So while
that's what I was trying to get at.
What you're suggesting is great, and we all have said that. That's the problem with WWE. He's just pointing out the reality that they have trouble with one storyline, so he doesn't believe that they will successfully do multiple. So again, I think that you sort of missed his point. So I don't think you disagree with each other. I think you actually agree.
I'm very angry. That's why my anger is overclouding my reasoning. That's the problem.
I think it's time to pull Drew McIntyre back. He's had a hell of a run. He's had it over 200 days. He's defended it at least 6 or 7 times, retaining. So I think what they're doing is they're going to pull him back, and then once they get fans back in the stands for the Rumble or whatever, they'll put him back. Hell, at the Rumble, they could have a number 1 contenders match with Drew McIntyre and who cares? You know, there's plenty of names that you can put there, and then have the winner of the Rumble challenge for the SmackDown title, and have the winner of that challenge Randy at WrestleMania. Now, I agree they don't have the best storylines, but I can understand why they dropped it. All right, Dose, what'd you think?
All right. Well, I'm going to try and keep my stuff short because we've been going on about this for a long time. As far as the match itself was concerned, I think by this time in the show, maybe I was tired, but I just thought it was just okay. It was an okay Hell in the Cell match. It seemed a little bit slow to me in the way that it moved. I don't think anyone really cares about my play-by-play, so I'm not going to give it. I picked Drew to win. I didn't want Randy Orton to win. I didn't think he was going to win, but I really don't have a problem with it. And there's 2 reasons for that. One is that we all know before all is said and done, he's getting to 16. So, you know, he had to get to 14 at some point to get to 15 to get to 16. The other thing is, you know, whatever the quality of the work, opponents, booking, storylines is, Drew McIntyre right now is the COVID champion. And for better or for worse, he's bearing the weight of ratings, of viewership, of people not being excited for it. And I know he's not the youngest guy in the world, but he is someone that they're probably looking to build around to be in that top tier for another half decade or so. So I think that's a lot of weight to carry for a guy who's never been the guy before. Randy Orton has been the guy before. Randy Orton gives no fucks. I think Randy Orton's a perfect guy to carry this weight right now and let Drew become the sympathetic babyface or the killer babyface or turn heel or whatever they want to do with it, that he's in the chase. So I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's fine. Let Randy carry the weight during this era. It doesn't seem like there's going to be live crowds anytime soon for, you know, in any appreciable numbers. You know, for months, people are still thinking that WrestleMania is going to be in Raymond James Stadium. I don't think there's a chance the way things are going right now. So, yeah, I feel like I'm straying into an area we shouldn't get into. So I don't have an issue with it. 14, let Randy bear the weight of it. Whatever happens, if ratings go up, if ratings go down, if viewership goes up, if viewership goes down, either way, I don't think he'll care very much. He'll still be the same guy, and he'll still be Randy fucking Orton. So it'll be fine. Let Drew do what Drew does. Let him take off 3 or 4 weeks, get him off TV for a little bit to freshen up. It doesn't matter. So I'm okay with it. It doesn't excite me, but I'm okay with it.
Fair enough. All right, Villain, round us out.
All right. Well, I did. This match was good. Everything. The one thing I was gonna say, this should have been a cinematic match, and after Drew was off the cage, I think they should have went to a singing number. You know, I think that would have fucking been the highlight right there. But yeah, of course, you can find me with the rest of these guys. I'm the champion right now of predictions here at Suplex City. You can find me here every Thursday, God willing. You know, Matty G is the host. And, of course, you can find me at Jack of All Trivia on Facebook. That's how you get into the league. That's how you get into matches. And on YouTube at Jack of All Trivia. So I want to thank Matty G for being here tonight on the special Sunday night episode of the Hell in a Cell. I want to thank my other correspondents from around the globe. And, yeah, man, I give this pay-per-view a solid A-. I thought it was good.
All righty, Paynemaker, tell the people where they can find you and what you rated this pay-per-view.
Well, everyone can definitely find me a couple days from now on Thursday with Suplex City Chats. We're mainly going to break down, what we mainly do. We break down Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, and we get our shit in. You guys can also check out my YouTube channel, Mount Schmodown. It's like an ESPN style player profile breakdown of movie trivia players of the movie trivia Schmodown. This past Saturday, we talked about the Star Wars man. We talked about the Star Wars legends, Joseph Scrimshaw, and this upcoming Saturday is going to be a live episode moving forward. We're going to announce who we're going to cover probably by tomorrow or Tuesday on our Twitter, Mount Schmodown.
All right,
and
go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Look, despite my general feelings about this, it was a very solid pay-per-view, though. But because of some impromptu matches like we got with Lashley and Slapjack, and of course with the not making sense of Jeff Hardy and Elias feud, I'm just gonna give this pay-per-view like a B, a solid B.
All right, and the leader of the Darker Order, how about you?
Grade. I'm going to be less generous than you guys. I think it was just okay. I think that there was as much sort of blah and meh as there was good. I think there was some really good, but not much. So I guess I would be like a B-. I was going to say C+, but I think you guys talked me up a half a grade to a B-. As far as where you can find me, other than here, I understand we might be doing a surprise show with the Villain, and then maybe it'll be a simulcast or shared broadcast on Suplex City Chats and the Villain stream. I don't know. But you can check me out on my podcast on all major platforms, Garden of Doom, which is a variety show which covers some current events, pop culture, and also tries to make the abnormal normal. And episode 1 of my new wrestling podcast is available on Spotify, called Hammerlock Hangover. Now that's a working title, but that's how you can find it right now. We don't know if it'll stay. If you don't like it, so just a better name. We are very open. But there's me and my partner in crime, Big Daddy Cool. So check that out. It's a little bit dated now. And if you've heard this show last week, you heard a lot of the same opinions on it. But I don't know. That's, I'm really, really interesting. So listen.
And I'm Matty G, and I, of course, host Suplex City Chats, as they said, Thursday nights. Saturday nights, I also host After Dark. It's kind of our variety talk show. We do all kinds of stuff there. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe wherever you are. And from that note, that was our trip to hell.